My culminating unit for my communications technology class, it will be a basic introduction to Adobe After Effects, and you'll see we're just going to get right into this. When you open up After Effects, you have all your different options along the top, and we're just going to go right into composition to be creating our first composition. So you're just going to click that, and you can name it whatever you want, and we're going to name it tutorial part 1. And in here, we're just in the basic settings right now. You have your preset resolution and kind of options for your video. And right now it's set to a 1080p video, so it's going to be 1920 by 1080, or you can go with the 1280 by 720, and that will give you a 720p video, and it will be set to 29 frames per second, which we will talk about in a second. You want to lock the aspect ratio to make sure it's the exact same, and no different video or footage you drop in can change the settings of the composition. It'll automatically be fit into that. And our pixel aspect ratio we can just leave. After Effects will be able to automatically detect that, or should be able to, but for whatever reason it's simply just if you're doing something on a wide screen, you can, or a different type of screen, if you're on like a TV or such, the pixel aspect ratio can change to kind of fit and keep the quality that you want when on a different monitor or screen. So resolution, we're going to have to full just to have the best quality we can, and for the frame rate, it's just frames per second. So every second that goes by, 29.97 frames are taken. This results in a lot more kind of choppy if you were to drag the clip out and try to slow motion to it or anything of that sort. The more frames in between that are available, the more smooth and nicely it can be dragged out. So generally videos are in 29.97, 30, 59.97, or 60, and it can go all the way up into very dramatic frame rates like 10,000 to 15,000 frames per second on very expensive cameras. And this can be used for just incredible slow motions that are used in like a lot of movies or action movies that really require dramatic effect. So this will be the duration of your composition. You can change this pretty much when you have your footage in, just by going to composition settings and change the settings, but for now you're pretty much safe if you just want to make it a 1 minute composition, if that's what you would like to do. Well, 10 seconds actually, now I've done it wrong, but nonetheless we don't really need to worry about that right now. As we go into the advanced, you have the different type of text and how it will be rendered out. So Ray Trace 3D will support, and this is only in Adobe After Effects CS6. I don't believe in CS4, CS5, or any of the earlier versions you can really change anything with a 3D such, or even with the motion blur. I'm not sure if that's an option as well, but for those in After Effects CS6, you can notice that you have your classic 3D or your Ray Trace 3D. Ray Trace 3D will support it and make it look very blocky and really emphasize the fact that it's a 3D sort of text, and your classic 3D is just, it could be rendered in an RGB split, so you can use your classic 3D glasses on it, or you can even, if this is just set to classic 3D, you wouldn't have to worry about it turning out in RGB, you just have to render that separately. So in the options here, you have your ray trace quality that can go up to 64, and it'll be basically just altering the motion blur that is set. And before you render it, you might want to set it to like the highest possible. And while you're just trying to edit it yourself, you want to keep it low to maximize your RAM and rendering time, because it will take up a lot of space. Anti-aliasing filter, don't really need to worry about that right now. And for the sake of just a simple composition, we're just going to pretty much leave anything in the advanced. I just thought I'd kind of give you a lowdown and explain what that is. So now we've got part 1 done, we have our composition made, and I will see you in part 2.